my monster. And the monster character, alias, whatever you want to call it, is very developed in my mind's eye. And I say that because it was profound in my weight loss. It gave me, instead of rebelling against myself, so to speak, I rebelled against this bad part of me that I call my monster. Put her away. Put her in the dungeon. Put her in jail. She's not who I am. She's not who I want to be. She's some part of my brain that was born that way, that sabotaged me. So how do I put that in a book? You know, it's hard to explain things like that. Yeah, I've done all of it. I've done, my gosh, I don't know what I haven't done. It doesn't work. I was the same way. I wanted to think that I could pop a pill or there'd be some magical, easy way. There's not. Those things aren't going to do it. You have to work on your brain. The apple cider vinegar, if it works for you, try it. I did it. It didn't do it. Magnesium didn't do it. A tremendous amount of fiber. I forced myself to eat this, it was in a plastic container of fiber so that I would make myself full. None of it worked. It didn't work. It wasn't sustainable, is what I'm trying to say. It was not sustainable. I had to do the very difficult work of figuring out why. Why can't I lose weight? What was sabotaging me? That's a lot of work for someone that's been morbidly obese for over 3 decades. Just thinking about it is overwhelming. And I say it not to brag, but because I want people to know that even if you have a serious weight problem, and you have for years, there actually is hope. There really is. And something that I don't understand myself. Well, thank you for saying that, Mary. Something that I don't understand. I don't want to offend anybody, but they say that, you know, I read sometimes they say that obesity is a disease. Well, I was obese for over 33 years. If it was a disease, how did I eradicate that so-called disease? It's not a disease. It's not, now, I can't say that about everybody. Maybe, there are definitely people that have hormonal issues or Prader-Willi syndrome. At times, I thought I had Prader-Willi syndrome, which is, look it up, it's really fascinating. It's P-R-A-T-E, it's either D-E-R or T-E-R, and then hyphen Willi, W-I-L-L-I, syndrome. And those people, unfortunate people that have it, literally cannot stop eating. And whoever they live with, literally, they have to chain the refrigerator shut because Prader-Willi people cannot stop eating. It's very sad. But, well, thank you for saying that. I lived it. Yes, and definitely hereditary for me. I have ancestors. Well, shoot, I have pictures of them. I should put that in my book. Of these 2 brothers that are my great uncles that have had overalls on. I'm seeing them in my mind's eye, the picture. And they were between 400 to 500 pounds is what my mom told me, because I couldn't tell how much they weighed in the picture. I just knew they were, they looked like they could literally be hooked up to a horse or like a big wagon and work on a field and be like the workhorse. They were so enormous. And I have a lot of that in my family. So some people have it a lot harder than others, and it's far more difficult, and it's not fair. It's not fair at all, but that's just the way it is. We all have advantages and disadvantages in life, and you have to figure out what your advantages are and try to find ways to help yourself with those advantages. For instance, I was saying earlier that put on muscle easily, very easily, which is pretty rare, even for men. But I can go to the gym and I can tell the next day that I'm more muscular. And I don't know what it is, how I'm like that. I don't take creatine or anything, and it's just genetic. I know who I got it from. So I definitely lift weights. Muscle is gold. And women, for some reason, now it's becoming more, I've noticed in the younger generations, weightlifting with females is becoming more and more accepted. But I'm 57 years old, and most women my age don't lift weights. But that's a big secret to maintaining a weight loss, is lifting weights. Lifting weights gives you many advantages in life. You know, we lose quite a bit of bone density and muscle as we age. And I can't believe that left such a big indentation on me. I must be holding on to water. But definitely, I agree. Some can be or is hereditary. Oh, I was showing this picture earlier. This picture of me standing next to my uncle. And if someone like this, who was obese for decades, can lose weight, others can too. And my whole message is not about meal plans or exercise or counting calories or macros. That's something people, 10, 20 years ago, I never heard that. Macros. For me and to me, it's all about psychology. Yeah, I haven't been on live that often, but it's the truth. And if you can control your mind, then you can control your life. I couldn't control my mind when it came to eating. I could control my mind about my career, about my sons, about a multitude of other things, life goals that I had. I could do what I wanted to, but for some reason I couldn't control my brain when it came to eating. I have multiple severe issues with eating. And so for me, I had to figure out ways to control myself because I was out of control. I couldn't control myself despite my best intentions. I could not. And I think a lot of people experience that. Life is hard. Life is not easy for anyone. And a lot of us use food as a coping mechanism. It's something to look forward to. It makes us happy. It makes us feel good. It doesn't talk back to us. I started overeating when I was 11, and my mom would leave me alone while she went on dates the whole weekend. And it was just me, food, and the TV. And that's when I really started to turn to food, was when Mom left me alone. And I remember I was scared. She shouldn't have done that. Anyway, I remember looking at my arms. Was it my arms? My shoulders. I can see it in my mind. And I was getting all these stretch marks. And anyway, if you have the biology, the genes that predispose you to obesity, and then the right environment, which I definitely had because I was left alone at a very young age, and all I had was food and the television. And of course, I did read. I read a lot, but at night I was always scared, and so I had the TV on to keep me company, and then my food. Thank you for saying that. Food companies put in chemicals that affect the brain. Yes, they do. And I didn't know that until a few years ago. They definitely do. And I can feel it with processed foods. And it makes me angry that happens. How dare they do that to me? Not, I'm just telling you my dialogue with myself. You have to protect yourself almost like you protect a child that you love that needs to be protected. That's how you have to think of yourself. Well, thank you. It is a huge problem. Somebody told me the other day that our country is the fattest country in the world. We have the most percentage of people that are obese, and we have the most gyms in the world. Yet we still have the highest percentage of obese people in the world. So why is that? It's because people can't control themselves. They don't know how to control their food intake. Life is hard. A lot of people use food to cope. It makes you feel good. I could feel it go to my brain. It was like an instant antidepressant for me. And when I would overeat, I would go into a trance. And I remember just staring into space and going like this. And I didn't want anybody to interrupt me because it was like a brain orgasm almost. And I know that sounds weird, but it made my brain feel so good. And I just wanted to stay like that. And then when I got done eating, I remember thinking, what happened to all the food? I didn't even taste it. So, isn't that ridiculous? Yeah, I think the U.S. is depressed after everything we've been through with, oh my gosh. I don't have to tell you what we've been through. Mine isn't overeating. I have a sweet tooth too. And the way you deal with that is you don't let yourself have that in the house. You can't go grocery shopping. No, I'm not saying you can't. But my rule is I don't go grocery shopping when I'm hungry because I will lie to myself and I will trick myself. That sounds dumb, but it's the truth. And I'll say to myself, oh, I'll just eat one or two of those. That's all I want. I'll let my son eat the rest. I'm really buying them for him. Do you know how many times I've done that in my life? Then I go home, or even in the car, I'll start eating that food before I even get home. And then I'll get so angry with myself that I did that, but then I did it again and again and again and again and again. And so I feel more and more defeated and disgusted with myself. So you shouldn't go, you have to establish ground rules for yourself. And it's wise not to go grocery shopping when you're hungry. Otherwise, people tend to make poor choices. I have been through a lot. Thank you. I appreciate it. Americans are sedentary. Our children don't play outside anymore. Electronics. I agree, and I find it frightening. And I don't know what's going to happen to us as a society. I think of the movie, wasn't it WALL-E, where everybody was laying back and they would just use their fingers to push buttons for an ice cream, milkshake. And wasn't that WALL-E that I'm thinking of? And I remember when I watched that movie, I thought, I can see that happening in the future because it's people tend to gravitate towards what is easiest. And it's easy to push a button. We all seek pleasure, all of us. We're pleasure-seeking. Humans are pleasure-seeking. And we tend to want to do as little as possible. That's just human nature. So you have to figure out strategies for yourself to keep yourself in control. It's get off your rear end and get active. I know people have certain ailments that don't help out. I have a lot of ailments. I frequently think, boy, if I told people all the things that I have wrong with me, they probably wouldn't even believe me. And then it might make them feel badly that they don't do anything and they have far fewer problems. And so then I think, I'm telling you my thought process, and I think, so don't say all these things so what I'm telling you is I have a lot of physical issues that make it very difficult for me to exercise and move, serious issues. But I do anyway, because what's the alternative? I'm not going to let myself put all that weight back on. No way. It's a fight, and I am going to win. I will win. And that's how you have to think about it. You will win. You will do whatever it takes, and you will win. Oh, I love dark chocolate. What age did I start? Well, I started working. I remember my mom sent me to this summer school class. It was at Rice University in Houston, and I don't know why they had a weightlifting class, but they did. And that was when I recognized that I love lifting weights, and I'm stronger than all the other girls. How is it that I can lift so much more weight than all the other girls? And I know I had low self-esteem, but that was something that I could cling on to that made me feel, like we all want to feel like we're special, that something about us is special. And so up until then, I didn't feel like I had anything special about me. So then when I recognized that I put on muscle really easily and that I'm extremely strong naturally, well, that made me happy, and I have lifted weights on and off since I was 11. Now, when I was really heavy like this and this, I didn't lift weights. I could hardly move. And I made my sons the priority over, I prioritized all of their needs and wants. There were three. I have three sons over me. I was the last person I thought about. If I was hungry, I did eat all the time, but I didn't really take care of myself. I made my sons the most important thing in my life. My whole life revolved around my sons, and that was not wise on my decision. I didn't know. I had a pretty crummy childhood, and I wanted to give them everything that I didn't have, and I overindulged them is what I ended up doing. I lost 44% of my body weight. I lost 110 pounds. If you look at the link in my bio, I'm the #1 featured success story on the National Weight Control Registry. I was interviewed by Bloomberg News for their podcast series, Losing It. I'm featured in that podcast. It's connected to my bio. You can hear me talking. The whole series, if you're serious about losing weight or you know someone that wants to lose weight, listen to it. It's free. Why would you not? Listen to it. Do something good for yourself. Love yourself. I don't get anything out of, I have to turn the fan on. I don't get anything out of telling people about that podcast. I get nothing except the pleasure of knowing maybe I've helped someone not suffer like I did for so long. Great work on personal trainer certified. Wow. I hope you follow me, and I'm looking for someone to help me with my book, and I don't know exactly who I need. I don't know if I need and maybe I don't need anyone, but I'm a perfectionist, and that's part. People that have obesity problems frequently are perfectionists, and everything has to be just right. I always thought, well, if I don't do this just this way, and if I overeat this or that, or it's not exactly how I wanted, then I got fixated on that, and it just blew, it blew it. I just blew it. Forget it. I'll start over again, and I would even start it at like midnight, exactly midnight, and all these compulsions and dumb mind games and rules that I made for myself. It was ridiculous. In reality, I know now that I didn't want to face the fact that I just couldn't control myself. And these were all ways for me to think that maybe I could control myself, but in reality, I couldn't control myself. Let's see, how many? I got up to 250, I believe, at my heaviest. And I say I believe because I didn't weigh myself. When you get that big, at least me, I was so ashamed of myself. I was so embarrassed and disgusted that I couldn't control myself, that I sort of like block things out because it was so horrible to me. I wanted to lose weight more than anything in the world. I did not want to be skinny ever. I always wanted to be strong and muscular. I wanted to be healthy. I wanted to be able to have a real life that I could swim with my sons, or I could go to an amusement park with my sons and fit in the seats, or just go anywhere and not have people look at me because I was so big. And then when you have a brace on top of it, I just look like this pathetic. Oh, it was just awful. I really suffered a lot. This is not that great of a picture. Now, my ex-husband lifted weights. He was a big guy, so I don't know if you can tell how big I was. For being that big, I think I had pretty legs. But that's the brace. I had to wear shoes that were 2 sizes too big so that I could wear the brace. It kept my ankle from bending. And I kind of walked like this. I couldn't walk very well. And so my left calf atrophied. It's never been the same. How did I lose the weight? I didn't lose the weight until I was in my mid-40s. It took me 3 years, and I figured out how to control my mind is the best way for me to say it, because I did everything under the sun, including surgery to try to lose weight. None of it worked. Nothing. All the time, energy, and money that I spent trying to figure out how to lose weight, none of it mattered. It wasn't until, and I saw professionals, I saw counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists. I was in groups with other people that wanted to lose weight, support groups, Overeaters Anonymous, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig. Jenny Craig even had meetings. Now, Jenny Craig, I thought, was the best out of all of them. When I reflect now, now it's completely different reflecting. But Jenny Craig really taught people how to live, to stay healthy. They didn't so much talk about the psychological component of it, which was very big for me. But out of all of the weight loss programs, I thought that Jenny Craig was definitely the best one by far. What? I wasn't that. No, I was 110 pounds heavier in that picture. I'm not sure I understand. I can tell that you built muscle and burned fat. Yeah, it was hard to do. Anybody that tells you that it's not is lying. What point? I had a lot of things that happened. My gallbladder almost exploded. You could see it sticking out. It was so big. I remember the surgeon saying I was lucky I didn't die. But my ex-husband, I should have been taken to the emergency room one night. I knew that something really bad was happening to me. I didn't know what. And I waited as long as I could because I knew not to ask him, not to wake him up. He was a very mean, cruel man. And I knew that if I awakened him that I was going to have hell to pay. So I waited as long as I could, and my gallbladder was, I don't know what the right words are. Anyway, so I finally did awaken him, and I could barely talk. And I told him I needed, please take me to the emergency room. And he wouldn't do it. And he stuffed Tums and Rolay, literally just shoved them in my mouth. And then I went to the bathroom and I threw up and I ended up passing out. And I remember being on the floor with my vomit and my cat getting in my hair and the vomit. And then I knew, Jill, oh, I'm so smart. I finally realized, hey, this marriage isn't going to work because he's not going to, that was very abusive and cruel. I could have died on the floor that night. I was very lucky I didn't. And he still wouldn't take me to the emergency room. Well, I'm not going to go into that. But so I actually had a lot of things that happened, not just that. I'm going to turn the fan on. In the end, no, I have stretch marks. In the end, look very healthy, take care. I sure try to, but it's not always easy, and I'm sure not perfect. I don't have a filter. In the end, you have to find your reason for wanting to lose weight to be healthy. It's not what my reasons are. It's what's important to you. Why do you want to be a healthy weight? Why is it important to you? What's the reason? That's what you have to think about. And I don't have a filter. If I had a filter, you would see fake eyes or eyelashes, whatever. There's something weird about it when you're on live where, and I'll show you, where it makes your chin look like it's moving. And I don't know what that is, but I saw it when I was holding up a picture. I saw of course now I'll do it and it won't do it, but those dumb ring lights. Do you see it where it looks like my chin is moving, like it's going up and down? Anyway, there's something with when you go live. I don't know why. Who cares? You guys have asked some excellent questions. You really have. Alcoholics Anonymous? No, I've never really had I don't care about alcohol. I never have liked it. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Now, I did go to Overeaters Anonymous, Jack, which follows the 12-step program. But as I was saying earlier, I didn't like OA, Overeaters Anonymous. I felt like they were, to me, it was like everybody, we would sit in a circle, and all these people were huge. And I felt like when they talked, it was all their excuses, and no one really seemed to be taking action. And then at the end of the meeting, everybody would go out to eat at a restaurant. I didn't like that. I thought, why don't we do an activity, something active afterwards instead of going out to eat? So I wouldn't go out to eat with them. I was stubborn and I wouldn't go out to eat with them. And anyway, I didn't go to that group that long because I didn't think they definitely didn't help me. I was looking for more than that. Thank you, WTC Dog. Too many people these days are praising obesity. I agree. And it is sad because in the end, those people will just die early. And thank you. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, I'm not trying. I never wanted to be skinny. I personally don't like skinny. I like people with some meat on them, you know. I like muscular people that, all my sons are pretty muscular naturally, and that's just what I gravitate towards. Is I love muscle. I know how healthy it is. I know how important it is to have muscle. Muscle is gold. You saw me. Thank you I hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. And I'm getting close to 1,000 subscribers, but I don't have nearly enough watch hours. So I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe. I have a lot more content on YouTube than I do on here. I started out actually on YouTube and then eventually came to TikTok. It wasn't a tummy tuck. It was what's called a transverse abdominis. And if you want the surgeon's name, I'd be happy to give his name to you and where he is. Send me a message on my latest video. And if you really are serious, I'd be very happy to give you all the information. I vary my workouts, Jack. Today, I think it's important that we do a variety of different activity. Today, I played pickleball with my son. And we went to my gym and we played with a bunch of other people. And I had a blast. And it was fun. That's what's important. You have to do things that you like, things that you look forward to. I couldn't wait to play pickleball, and I didn't want it to end. Well, I was active. That was my cardio today, and then I lifted weights at home tonight. So that's what I did today. The day before that, I went to my gym, and did my back and back and triceps is what I did. Not yesterday, the day before that. The day before that, I did legs in the gym. So I try to. Thank you. I've been told that about Raquel Welch. Poor Raquel Welch. I felt, I think she was a genuinely kind, good, very nice person, sincere person. But what I'm trying to get across to you is you do what you like. What do you enjoy? What activities do you like? That's what you should do. Not what I do. What do you like to do? I'm 57. Thank you for saying young. That's very kind of you. I don't always feel so young, especially on TikTok, which is very much dominated by younger generations, and I wish more people my age were on TikTok. So I'd appreciate it if you'd follow me on YouTube and TikTok. Well, thank you. That's very sweet of you, Michelle. I appreciate it. I just got a message. I've been live for 90 minutes now. I should take a break. Well, I actually enjoy this. It makes me happy to think that I'm giving other people hope and inspiration to let you know it can be done. Well, thank you. It's a subject that I've lived since I was 11. If you read my bio, I'm the #1 featured success story on the National Weight Control Registry. And if you read the bio, I wrote for the National Weight Control Registry, which is highly respected. That's how Bloomberg News